Alright, so this is the review for the Unit 1 test. Okay, so we're going to go through this piece by piece. So it says which expression is equivalent to this. So, in order to figure that out, we got to do each piece of that. So we start with, what does that equal? Well, so 6 times 2 plus 4. Let's turn that light off. Alright, that's better. 2 plus 4 minus 4 times 8 squared. Well, we do order of operations. So we do what's in the parentheses first. So that's 6 times 2 plus 4. Well, 2 plus 4 is 6. Well, next we do exponents. So that's 6 times 6 minus 4 times, well, 8 times 8 is 64. Now, you will have a calculator, so you don't have to know 8 times 8 is 64 off the top of your head. It would be nice if you did, but you don't have to. Okay? So then we multiply from left and divide from left to right. Well, 6 times 6 is 36. And then there's still multiplication, so 4 times 64, well, 4 times 4 is 16, carry 1, that's 24, and 1 is 25, so 36 minus 256. And so 36 minus 256, well, that's 0, so negative 220. So the question is asking, since this is equal to 220 negative, which two of these equals negative 220? So we go through and we work it out and see which ones are equal to negative 220. Okay, so let's start with A. 5 plus 2 parenthesis 8 minus 3 squared plus 17. Okay, start with parentheses. In the parentheses we have a subtraction and an exponent, so we do the exponent first. 8 minus 9. Then we do the subtraction in the parentheses. So 8 minus 9 is negative 1. And then we multiply. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. And then we add and subtract from left to right. So 5 minus 2 is 3. And then 3 plus 17 is 20. Well, 20, oops, I'm off the screen, sorry. 20 is not negative 220, so choice A is gone. And so we go on to choice B. Negative 5 times 4 plus 3. I know I'm not on the screen, I'm just writing the question down. Plus 3 times negative 63 plus 2 squared. Okay, well, parentheses first. 4 plus 3 is 7. Okay, exponents next. Two squared is 4. And then we multiply and divide from left to right. So multiply. Negative 5 times 7 is negative 35. Okay, multiply again. I don't know why I'm writing 3 when I'm about to be multiplying. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 6 is 18. And a positive times a negative is a negative. So minus 189. Now we add and subtract from left to right. So negative 35 minus 189. So that's basically plus a negative. So 5 and 9 is 14, carry 1. 3 and 8 is 11, and 1 is 12, carry 1. 1 and 1 is 2. So negative 224 plus 4. And so that's negative 220. Well, that's exactly what we're looking for. And so B is one of our answers. And so then we try C. So that's parentheses 5 times 2 squared plus 50 times 2 plus 11. So parentheses first. 5 times 2 is 10 squared. Exponents next, so 10 squared is 100. Multiplication. 50 times 2 is 100. Add and subtract from left to right. 100 plus 100 is 200. Plus 11 is 211. Well, 211 is not negative 220, so we can get rid of choice C. Move on to choice D. 500 divided by 2 minus 5 squared minus 2 squared. Well, again, exponents first. 500 over 2 minus 5 squared is 25 minus 2 squared. Exponent, so 500 over 2 minus 25 minus 4. I really hope I didn't make a mistake here. Divide next, so 500 divided by 2 is 250 minus 25 minus 4. 250 minus 25 is 225 minus 4 is 221. Well, 221 is not negative 220, so goodbye choice D. And so we move on to E. So 5 parentheses negative 12 minus 12 minus 4 times 5 squared. Well, parentheses first, so negative 12 minus 12 is negative 24. Now, exponents next. 5 squared is 25. Now we multiply. 5 times negative 24 is negative 120. That's minus, sorry. 4 times 25 is 100. And 100 minus 120, or 120 minus 100 is negative 220. And so negative 220 is what we want. And so that's choice E. Now, as a bit of a time saver, you can use the calculator. Just make sure you enter the stuff correctly. So like if you're going to enter that first one, 6 parentheses 2 plus 4 parentheses minus 4 times 8 squared, negative 220. Okay, enter choice A, 5 plus 2 parenthesis, 8 minus 3 squared. Leave the parentheses. Plus 17. And you get 20, which is what we got. Now, for choice B, a lot of you keep doing this. You press this for the negative. But notice, it's up here, it says answer minus. Okay? You don't do that. The negative is this one next to the answer. Okay, see how it shows up negative, not answer minus? Okay, so negative 5, parenthesis, 4 plus 3, leave the parenthesis, plus 3, you can hit times parenthesis, then the negative key, 63, leave the parenthesis, plus 2 squared, enter, and you get negative 220. Okay, and then you can go on and do the rest of them to see which one works. Okay, so you don't have to write it all out. You can just use the calculator. Just make sure you use the negative for negatives, not the subtraction. Okay, make sure you use the right key. All right, next. Number 2 says, what is the solution to this equation? Well, it's a basic two-step equation. We want x by itself. Well, so we check. Is there anything to distribute? No. So we go on. Is there anything to combine? No. There's nothing to combine on this side, nothing to combine on this side. So are all the variables on one side? Well, there's no x's over here. All the x's are over here. So then we want to move this way. So we minus 15.76. Minus 15.76. Excuse me, I'm sorry. That cancels, and we're just left with 4x on this side. Now, again, if you want to draw that line down, you are more than welcome to. Have fun, do what you need to do. And then we subtract 25.16 minus 15.76. And we get 9.4. Then this is multiplication, so we divide by 4. And we get x equals 9.4 divided by 4 is 2.35. Since it had decimals in it to begin with, decimals are okay in our answer. And so our answer is just this. Now, we can check to see if it works by simply doing 4 times 2.35 plus 15.76. So 4 times 2.35 plus 15.76. Well, that's 25.16. And that's what we wanted it to equal. So we know we got the right answer. It's a very simple check. Since it equaled what we wanted it to equal, we know we're right. Okay. For number 3, what value of t satisfies this equation? So in other words, we're solving for t. So we start distributive property. Well, there's no parentheses, so there's nothing to distribute. So then we combine like terms. Well, over here we have a 3t minus 2t. Well, 3 minus 2 is 1, so t. Then we have positive 6 minus 11. Well, 6 minus 11 is negative 5. Then we come to the other side of the equal sign. We have 10t's plus 2t's. Well, 10 plus 2 is 12. And then we've got negative 5 plus 9. Well, negative 5 plus 9 is positive 4. And so we just simplified the equation. And so now we bring all the t's to one side and all the constants to the other. So I'm going to subtract 1t. Since there's no number in front of it, we assume it's a 1. So 1t minus 1t. And so I get negative 5 equals 12 minus 1 is 11, t plus 4. Okay, since I brought my t's to the right, I'm going to bring my numbers to the left. So I minus 4. And so I get 11t. Negative 5 minus 4 is negative 9. Well, now I divide by 11. Negative 9 divided by 11 is negative 9 elevenths, is t. And again, I can do a simple check. I just type this in. So I take my original equation, 3 parenthesis, negative, again, we use the actual negative key. So 3 negative 9 divided by 11 plus 6 minus 2 parenthesis negative 9 divided by 11, leave the parenthesis, minus 11. Press enter. And so I get negative 64 over 11. Now, so that's the left side. Now I'm going to do the right side. On the right side, that's 10 parenthesis negative 9 divided by 11, leave the parenthesis, minus 5, plus 2 parenthesis negative 9 divided by 11, leave the parenthesis, plus 9. And then enter. Notice I got negative 64 over 11 for both. So that means this side equals this side. I'm off the screen, I'm sorry. So that means this side equals this side, because I got negative 64 over 11 for each side. Well, that's on my screen, not the thing. And so since both sides are equal, that means it's true. And so that's t. And we're done. Okay, you can always check your answer. You don't have to necessarily write it out, but you can check it. Okay, so number 4, what value of x makes this true? So again, we start with the distributive property. So 7.5 times 2, 7.5 times 8. Well, 2 times 7.5 is 15x. 7.5 times 8 well, 7.5 times negative 8 is negative 60. So we add 60 because there's no like terms to combine. The variable is already on the left. There's no variables over here. So we add 60. we get 15x equals 150. And then we divide by 15. And so x is 10. And again, we can check that. So we do 7.5 parenthesis 2 times 10 minus 8. And that equaled 90, and that's what we wanted it to equal. So we know we're right. For number 5, distributive property to start with. Always check for the distributive property first. So we take negative 3 times 2x. Negative 3 times negative 4. Well, negative 3 times 2x is negative 6x. Negative 3 times negative 4 is positive 12. Bring down the 8x. 2 times x, 2 times 6. Well, that's 2x plus 12. Next is combine like terms. Well, we've got 8x minus 6x. Well, 8 minus 6 is 2x. Bring down what we didn't use. Okay, move all the x's to one side. And so 2x minus 2x is 0, so we get 12 equals 12. Well, that's true. So that means there's infinitely many solutions. Because since this is true, this was basically plus 0x, which is just 0. And so we're left with a true statement. Anything we put in will work. And so, infinitely many solutions. Okay, number 6, this is what we were doing on Tuesday and Wednesday. We want to get y by itself. So, there's no distributive property or anything. There's no like terms. So, let's start by subtracting the 8x from each side. So, we get negative 7y. We can't just forget about that sign. That's part of the 7. Equals 15 minus 8x. Then we divide by the negative 7. And so we have to divide everything by negative 7. And so we get y equals, well, 15 doesn't go in, it can't be divided evenly by 7, so that's negative 15 over 7. Negative and negative make positive 8/7 x. Now, we could rewrite this as y equals 8/7 x minus 15/7. Okay, either one of these is fine. Okay, they're the same exact thing. Okay, for number 7, we have to write an equation and solve it. The writing the equation part is easy. Okay, it's not that difficult. Okay, the number of CDs in Walter's collection can be represented by X. So we know we have an X. The number of CDs in Brian's collection is 4 times the number in Walter's collection. Well, if Walter is 4, there is X, and this is 4 times as big, then that's 4X. The total in both collections is 135. So that means equals 135. And so we've got x plus 4x equals 135. We want to know what x is. Well, combine like terms. 1x plus 4x is 5x. Divide by 5. Well, 5 goes into 13 twice. We have 3 left over, and so the answer is 27. Okay? That's all there is to it. It's a simple two-step equation. Well, and it's only 2 steps because you got to combine like terms. Okay. For number 8, what is the solution to this? So again, we already did a couple like this. Start with the distributive property. 3 times 3j, 3 times negative 4. Well, 3 times 3j is 9j. 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. Bring down the negative 2j minus 24. There's no like terms to combine because you don't have any other j's on this side and you don't have any other constants. You don't have any other j's or constants on this side. So the next step is move all the variables to one side and all the constants to the other. So I'm going to add 2j to both sides. That's gone. And the reason I'm adding is because the sign in front of the 2j here was negative. So the opposite of a negative is a positive. 9 plus 2 is 11. So we have 11 j's minus 12 is negative 24. We have to bring down that sign. And so now we move the 12 over, so it's minus 12, so plus 12. And so 11j equals negative 24 plus 12 would be negative 12. Divide by 11, and so j is negative 12 over 11. And again, we can put this in the calculator and make sure it's right. So 3 parentheses 3 times negative 12 over 11 minus 4. Negative 240 over 11. Go to the other side. Negative 2 parentheses negative 12 over 11 minus, didn't want to click the first time, negative 240 over 11. They're both the same, so we have the right answer. Okay, and then our last question. Again, distributive property first. So 6 times 3m, 6 times 4. That's 18m plus 24. Negative 3 times negative 3. Negative 3 times negative 4m. Well, negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. Negative 3 times negative 4m is positive 12m. Bring down the positive 5m. Well, we have like terms on this side. We have positive 12m plus 5m. Twelve plus 5 is 17, so we have 17m's. And so now I'm going to subtract 17m's from each side so that all my m's are on one side. And I get 1m plus 24 equals 9. And then I subtract 24. Well, and unless I'm mistaken, that's 15 negative. And so that's our answer. And so then if we go in and again we do our check just to make sure that it's right, we do 6 parenthesis 3 times negative 15 plus 4, and we get negative 246 on the left. Then if we do negative 3 parenthesis negative 3 minus 4 times negative 15 plus 5 times negative 15, we get negative 246. They're the same, so our answer is right. And so that is our final answer. Okay. Hopefully this helped. If you have questions, send me messages on Teams, and I will help you however I can. Good luck on your test tomorrow.